Hi, everyone, and welcome to English for Travelers. I'm Sarah, and I'm here with my co-host, James. We just got back from the most incredible week in Rome, Italy, and I am absolutely bursting to share everything with you.
Hey there, everyone! Yeah, Rome was definitely an adventure. Sarah here could barely contain her excitement the entire trip. I think she took about 1,000 photos.
Only 1,000? I thought it was more. But seriously, can you blame me? It's Rome, the eternal city. So, James, let's dive right in. The Colosseum. Oh my goodness. Standing in front of this massive ancient amphitheater where gladiators actually fought over 2,000 years ago.
Right.
It was like stepping into a time machine. You could almost hear the roar of ancient crowds. But James, tell our listeners about the reality of actually getting inside this iconic place.
Ah, yes, the reality check. So even though we had those fancy time tickets that we'd booked 3 days in advance, and let me stress that, listeners, book in advance, we still waited about 40 minutes just to get through security. And this was in October, which isn't even peak season.
40 minutes. Wow.
Yep. And if you want a guided tour, they'll charge you almost double the basic entry price. But I have to admit, once you're inside looking at those massive stone arches and imagining gladiators fighting for their lives, you kind of forget about the wait and the crowds.
Exactly. It makes history feel so real, so tangible. But then we went to Vatican City, and James, that was overwhelming in a completely different way.
Uh-huh.
The Vatican Museums have this incredible, massive art collection. And seeing Michelangelo's ceiling in the Sistine Chapel was just breathtaking. I actually got emotional looking up at it. But the scale of the whole place. James, how far did we walk?
The museum route is over 7 kilometers long. That's about 4.5 miles for our American listeners. We spent nearly 4 hours walking through it, and we still didn't see everything. My feet were definitely not happy with me by the end of the day.
Oh my gosh, yes. And James, tell them about that dress code situation we witnessed at St. Peter's Basilica. That was eye-opening.
Right, so we're standing in line to enter the basilica, and this woman in front of us gets turned away because she's wearing a tank top. The guards are very strict. Shoulders and knees must be covered, period. No exceptions, no matter how long you've been waiting in line.
That's such crucial information for travelers. Cover those shoulders and knees, everyone. But let's talk about something much more delicious. The food. Oh, James, the food in Rome was absolutely incredible.
And here we go with the food enthusiasm.
Hey, food is important. The first dish we tried was cacio e pepe, and honestly, I was skeptical at first. I mean, it's just pasta with cheese and black pepper. How amazing could it possibly be?
Famous last words.
Right? But it was absolutely divine. The pecorino romano cheese is so sharp and salty, and somehow when you mix it with just black pepper and the starchy pasta water, it creates this incredibly creamy, rich sauce. We had it for lunch at this little trattoria as a primo course, and it was perfection.
You practically licked the plate clean. It was a little embarrassing.
I did not. Well, maybe just a tiny bit. And then we discovered supplì. James, explain these amazing little things to our listeners.
Supplì are essentially fried rice balls filled with tomato sauce and mozzarella cheese. They're classic Roman street food. You grab them in the late afternoon when you're wandering around the city. Crispy golden exterior, soft and cheesy interior.
Exactly. And slightly tangy from the tomato sauce.
They're perfect as a quick snack or as an appetizer before dinner. Comfort food at its finest.
And then there was the maritozzo. Oh my goodness. This sweet bun filled with whipped cream that we had for breakfast. It was like having dessert for breakfast, and it's completely normal there.
It's basically a soft, lightly sweet bun that's split open and stuffed with lots of fresh whipped cream. You eat it at cafes with your morning cappuccino. Sarah had one every single day.
When in Rome. Speaking of cappuccinos and coffee culture, James, you noticed some really fascinating differences about how Italians drink their coffee compared to us Americans.
Oh yeah, completely different approach. Italians don't sit down and nurse their coffee for an hour like we do. They stand at the bar counter, drink their espresso in about 2 minutes, maybe chat briefly with the barista, and then they're gone.
Really? Just 2 minutes?
Pretty much. And here's the interesting cultural rule. Coffee with milk is strictly a morning thing. Order a cappuccino after lunch, and you'll get some very strange looks from locals. And if you just order a latte, you'll get a glass of plain milk. You need to say cafe latte if you want coffee with milk.
That's so fascinating how specific their coffee culture is. And dinner time was totally different too, wasn't it?
Yeah, dinner doesn't even start until after 8 p.m. We made the classic tourist mistake on our first night. Tried to eat at 6:30, and most restaurants weren't even open yet. Had to kill time for over an hour.
But I absolutely loved how warm and friendly the social interactions were. In small shops and stores, people always greeted the staff when they walked in. It felt so personal and community-oriented. Oh, and the tipping culture. That was a huge surprise for me. James, explain how different tipping is in Italy compared to what we're used to back home.
Very different from American expectations. Instead of our standard 15 to 20%, Italians just round up modestly. If your bill comes to 18 euros, you might leave 20 euros. That's it. Much more understated than what we're used to.
Such useful information for travelers. And I was amazed by all the public fountains with completely drinkable water. We saw locals refilling their water bottles everywhere throughout the city.
Yeah, that saved us quite a bit of money on bottled water. Though be warned, cafes will sometimes charge you extra just for sitting down at a table. These table service charges catch a lot of tourists off guard, so always check your bill carefully.
Oh my goodness, yes. But James, we absolutely must tell our listeners about the great pepperoni pizza incident with our friend Mike. That was hilarious.
Oh, right, the great language mix-up. So Mike walks up to the pizza counter with complete confidence and orders pepperoni pizza in his best attempt at an Italian accent, fully expecting to get that spicy sausage we know and love in America.
And he gets a pizza completely covered in bell peppers. Because pepperoni in Italian means bell peppers, not the spicy meat we call pepperoni back home.
The pizza guy was incredibly patient and sweet about it, though. He explained the difference with a smile, and we all ended up sharing the bell pepper pizza anyway. It was actually quite good, just not what Mike was craving.
That's such a perfect example of how language differences can surprise you when you're traveling. But James, we should tell our listeners about our biggest challenge during the trip, the public transportation system.
Oh boy, that was an adventure. The buses and metro system in Rome are not particularly tourist-friendly, let me put it that way. Bus stops often don't have clear route maps, and about half the ticket machines we encountered wouldn't accept our foreign credit cards.
And you have to validate your ticket when you get on the bus, right? That's super important.
Exactly. If you don't stamp your ticket in the little validation machine when you board, and an inspector randomly gets on to check tickets, you'll get hit with a substantial fine. We actually witnessed this happen to another confused tourist who had no idea about the requirement.
So stressful for that poor person. Okay, so before we wrap up our Roman adventure, let's give our listeners some practical tips based on everything we learned. James, what's your number one piece of advice?
Book your major attractions at least a week in advance if you're traveling during high season. And I'd honestly recommend booking even earlier if possible. Choose early morning time slots when you can. Fewer crowds, better lighting for photos, and much shorter wait times overall.
That's excellent advice. And always, always carry small change and cash for cafes and public transportation. Many places still prefer cash, and those ticket machines can be finicky. Also, double-check your cafe bills for any surprise table service charges.
And wear the most comfortable walking shoes you own, and then some. Rome has cobblestone streets everywhere, and you'll be walking significantly more than you expect. Your feet will thank you later. Trust me on this one.
My feet are still recovering 2 weeks later. But honestly, despite all the little challenges and unexpected moments, Rome was absolutely magical. The incredible history, the amazing food, the rich culture. It truly is everything you dream it will be and so much more.
It really is an incredible city. Just go prepared, stay flexible when things don't go exactly as planned, and embrace the beautiful, chaotic energy. That's all part of the authentic Roman experience that makes it so memorable.
Perfect way to put it. Thanks so much for listening to English for Travelers, everyone. We really hope this episode helps you feel more prepared and excited for your own Roman adventure. I'm Sara.
And I'm James. Until next time, Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep sharing those amazing travel stories with us.